Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with one of my favorite videos to film in the month because that is my panel palette update. So this project was created by Amber F a long time ago now. I think a lot of people have done this project if they're in the panning community or they're still doing it right now. This is a project that I've been doing basically since the start of my panning journey, and I really do love this project. It's one of my favorites to watch and to do, which is also why I love updating this project. And of course, like I showed you a second ago, I am panning the Soft Glam palette this year, which is a really nice kind of neutral palette for me to use. So I'm excited to share with you what this palette stands today. I'm going to show you obviously what it's been looking like and also the progress from this update. But before I jump into that, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So I'm gonna roll the footage of what this palette has been looking like throughout the couple of months that I've been working on it. And I mean, we're getting towards the end of the year now, which is crazy actually, because I feel like it's still so much left, but clearly it's not. But yeah, this is what the palette has been looking like. I can't remember exactly what everything happened, what I hit pan or everything, but you will see that better because you're watching the progress videos right now. I have over the past couple of months finished up a couple of shades. The first shade that I finished up was Sultry, and that one has been gone for a while now. I also was able to finish up Tempera and Rose Pink. Those are the shades that I had finished up fully. Also in those pans, I have been able to franken a couple of shades. So I made some franken shades with Dusty Rose and Orange Soda. One with Sienna mixed with a white, as well as Rustic mixed with a white, so you can see that too. And as of the last update, you might be able to see that I was actually able to finish up one of the Frankens, which was the one in the spot of Rose Pink, and that was the shade Sienna mixed with a white. So I was able to finish that up, so that this is what the palette looked like at that point. I did decide actually to franken a little bit more of this palette after this point, so this is what it looked like after I frankened it. So this is kind of where I stood when I started using this one. I franked this palette very early in the month, and I took again Sienna and mixed that with the white. Then I also ended up taking the shade Glistening out of the palette and franking into a highlighter, so that one I'm being used elsewhere. But this is what the palette looks like today, so hopefully you can see some differences in a couple of the pans. I definitely have been honing in on a couple of shades more than others. Yeah, I think I'm not using like every shade in here, which you will also be able to see in the uses, but I definitely am honing in on certain shades, and I feel like those have some decent progress, so let's talk through it. Yes, so this is the palette right here, of course, and I will also have the pictures up here so you can see what the kind of palette looks like, but I'm going to talk you through the progress and the uses and everything like that. So we're going to start off with the first shade, which is a Franken shade. This is the shade Dusty Rose plus Orange Soda, and this is one that I actually haven't used at all. I'm kind of savoring this one because it's relatively close to Burnt Orange, and I've been focusing on that one instead because I do want to get that one out relatively soon. So this one I have not been used. Then we have the shade Glistening, which is out of this palette that I'm using in a franking highlighter, like I said, and I won't add those uses in until that highlighter is done. So this one is kind of on hold for now. But yeah, if you want to see what that stands, check out my Rolling Parade pan, which we updated in a couple of days. Then next to that we have the shade Orange Soda, which is one that I have used a couple of times in the past month. I have used this one 5 times. I'm not sure if you can see that in the progress pictures. I feel like it's very thin now. So I'm not sure if the pan has expanded or if I've just thinned out the sides. But either way, I have used that one 5 additional times in the past month. Then next to that, in the spot of Rose Pink, I did make that new Franken shade with Sienna and the white. And I haven't used it as much as I did in the previous month. I've been focusing more on these kind of rustier tones rather than these more kind of reddish undertoned shades. This one is kind of like a rosy pink kind of transition shade, I guess. So I've only reached for this one twice, not too much, but I did use it a handful of times. Then next to that we have the shade Rustic mixed with a white, and that is in the spot of Sultry. And this is another one that I haven't used. Actually, I haven't used this one at all since I frankened it, which might seem a little bit of a fail, but it's more of a cool tone shade, and I know that I'm going to use this one a lot now later in the year, so especially in like November and December, I think I'm going to use this one a lot. So yeah, I'm not too worried about this shade, even though I haven't used it since I frankened it, but there's not that much in here, so you know, I think it's going to be used up anyway before the end of the year. Next to that we have the biggest fail of the month, because this is the shade Bronze, which is the kind of main shimmer that I use, to be honest, But I had a usage goal of 15 on this shade in the past month, but I haven't used it at all, which is the big fail. So I completely forgot about this shadow, and I have been trying to finish up the shade Amaze from my rolling product pan, which is also kind of like a mid-tone shimmer, like a neutral mid-tone shimmer. So I've been putting all focus on that shade, and this one has been neglected. I completely forgot about it. I remembered it like yesterday, and I was like, oh God, I can't, like, because it wasn't going with the looks that I was planning to do anyway. So it's like I just have to accept defeat and accept that I haven't used this one at all in the past month, which is a shame because it's the main shimmer that I'm using for this palette now. So I do really need to step it up, but I am determined to get some use out of this one in the next month because it's going to be my next focus for shimmer shadows moving forward when Amaze is done. So yeah, this one I'm definitely going to use in next month, and I'm going to roll over that usage goal of 15 to next month. But we're going to talk about goals later on. But that is used on bronze, or lack of use, I guess. Next to that we have the shade Mulberry, which is the last shade on the top row, and this one I have used once in the past month. Not great, but I kind of already said that I'm not going to finish this shade this year, so any use I can get is good for me. Moving on to the second row, we have the shade Dusty Rose, which I have not used. That one is untouched in the past month. It's too cool toned for what I'm going for right now, so not used it. And then we have the shade Fairy, which I also haven't used because I'm saving this one for Franken, same as what I've done with glistening. I want to mix this one in with a highlighter, so I'm saving this one for now. However, next to that we have the shade Burnt Orange, which is one of my biggest focus shades at the moment, and hopefully you can see that the pan has expanded quite a bit. I was looking at the pictures and I feel like it's a decent amount of like difference. At least from what I can look at, like the progress picture on my phone, it looks like there is a lot of progress, and hopefully you can see that too when it's actually side by side. But this one I had a usage goal of 15 on, and I wasn't quite able to get there, but I have still used it a lot. I was able to reach for this shade 11 times in the past month, which makes me really, really happy because it is a shade that I tried to focus on quite a lot, and I think I'm quite close to finishing the shade, which is also why I have such a high usage goal on it. But yeah, 11 uses I'm very, very happy with. Then next to Burnt Orange, we have the shade Sienna, which is another one that I feel like I have really, really good progress on. I feel like the pan has expanded a decent amount in the pictures. I had another goal on this one to reach for this shade 10 times, and I'm also happy to say that I was able to reach for it 10 times exactly. So it's the one that I was able to hit my usage goal on in the past month, which is nice to see. And it's another pan that I think I'm getting closer to finish. It's quite flat because I have been franking it, like I said, so I do think this one is another one that can go quite quickly. So really, really happy to see that. Then we have the shade Rustic, which I have used once. Nothing too exciting, probably no pan expansion or anything, but I have reached for it once. We also have Cypress Umber, which I have reached for twice. Again, probably no pan expansion, used like a couple uses here and there. And lastly, we have Noir, which I have reached for 3 times, so a little bit, but yeah, nothing yet. And this is the only shade in the palette that I don't have pan on yet, so it would be nice to pan on this one before the end of the year, but that is where I stand with all of the uses. So let me talk you through let me do the weights first. I'm going to go through goals afterwards. So I'm going to talk you through the weights. To sum up just briefly, as well, I always do this in the videos. This palette at the beginning of the year weighed 162.70 grams. So that was my starting point, and it does have an advertised weight of 10.36 grams. And averaging that out per month, it means that I have to reach for 0.86 grams per month in order to finish it, which is my ultimate goal every month, even though this wasn't a brand new palette or anything when it was introduced, but that is my goal, kind of just to have something to aim towards. To sum up Q1, I used 2.11 grams, and my goal at that point was 2.58 grams, so that was Q1. In Q2, I reached for 1.6 grams, and the goal was again 2.58. And at that point, I had used a total of 3.71 grams with a goal of 5.16. So it's definitely behind, but it was fine. Again, I'm not expecting to finish this whole palette this year just because of everything else that I'm doing. So I'm still happy with that number. Obviously, we haven't finished, well, now we have finished Q3, but let me sum up the other months this past quarter. So in July, I had my worst month yet. I only finished up 0.10 grams. I think that is because I frankened it, and also like I think there might have been some off in the weight, but 0.10 grams. In August, it wasn't much better. I only reached for 0.25 grams. So again, not too much, but it is what it is. And that is where I stood at the last update. So after frankening, which I took the video of, which is also what I'm comparing to now, the palette weighed 158.60 grams, which again was my point at the last update. Today the palette weighs 158.20 grams, which means that in the past month I have used up 0.40 grams, which is definitely the best that I had so far in the quarter. Still nowhere close to the goal, and it's only half of what I need to every month to finish this palette, but again, I'm just happy that the weight per month is increasing compared to the rest of the months this quarter. So that is the September use. To sum up again, quarter 3 now when we have all the numbers, this is actually such a bad number. I looked at it and I was like, wow, this is not great. So if you haven't added it up yourself yet, the weight loss in the last quarter is actually only 0.78 grams. So it's not even like what I need to have in 1 month to like be on track, which obviously sucks, but it is what it is. Obviously I wish it would like a higher weight, of course, but I do think humidity and like there've been some kind of discrepancies in the weight, so I'm not too worried about it. And I know that I've been able to see some visible progress in here, maybe not as much as I would want, but I can definitely see some visible progress, and that is ultimately what matters. So that is again where I'm standing with the palettes today, and that is all of the weight loss as well. So last thing I want to do is just go through my goals with this palette. So I do want to start focusing on finishing up some shades in here. So I'm gonna roll over the 15 use gold in bronze and hopefully get some good use on that one. Maybe I will be able to finish that up in the next 2 months if I do focus on it. So that's gonna be my first goal. I also want to use up half what is left in burnt orange and half of what is left in what's it called, sienna. Those two I want to focus on as well, keep focusing on them. I really do like those shades, so I think I can do that. It's gonna be hard to grasp like half. I don't think I will kind of use half this way, but I think I'm just gonna continue expanding it and see how it goes. But I do want to use up half of those each. Then I do think I want to try to aim to hit pan on Noir. I kind of want to just get that out of the way. I know I won't be able to finish it this year, but if I can hit pan on that shade, that would be great. So yeah, use 15 times, use up half of what's left, half what is left, and hit pan. Those are going to be my goals for next month, and the rest of the palette try to get a little bit of use here and there. So that is going to be it for my Panda palette update. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I think this one was a bit chaotic because my camera battery died, my camera overheated, I had to delete some footage. I had to like reset up my camera a couple times, so I hope the like frame hasn't changed too much back and forth, but I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're doing a Panda palette, please let me know how you're doing down below. I love hearing your updates, and other than that, I hope you guys are having an amazing day wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.